for years. Years. The greatest harm you could do to someone online was to talk about them, or show them to an audience, or show their work to an audience in anything less than a mildly positive light. Gamers paying for, playing, and then expressing their displeasure with an entertainment product would be painted as a hate campaign on par with the KKK at the height of their menace. I remember it not mattering that you'd paid for it. If it was perceived to carry a progressive message, then disliking the toy you bought was a form of violence, mocking it, a personal attack against anyone whose hands had touched it during development. When a group of gamers scuffled over what to do about the state of gaming and games journalism, one BioWare employee, Damien something, it's not coming to me, described it as Night of the Long Knives writ large, literally describing this behavior as Nazism, but worse. As of now, though, everything has been flipped, all thanks to The Boy Who Lived. You see, Hogwarts Legacy has been released. Gamers of a certain persuasion are making their lists and checking them twice. If you stream this game, you'll be added to a searchable public database of people who have played it, because showing it to an audience, in any light, is support now. One streamer, Nicotine, is boycotting Twitch while ads for the game run on the site, due to it being a harmful and toxic product. Unlike her chemical namesake, of course, and she's also calling for everyone else to do the same. There was a scuffle over this because people can't afford to do that, but that was fine this time, and not Nazism for some reason. This time also, the inclusion of minority representation both in the game and in the development team doesn't matter. In fact, these things have become bad. Legacy features the first ever canon trans character in the property's history, but all journalist Laura Kate Dale says of it is, LOL. Of course the Wizard Games trans woman's character's name starts with Sir. Where in the past, boycotting a game with these features might make you a cyber terrorist in some people's eyes, it is now the case that because your purchase aged J.K. Rowling, all else is irrelevant. Never mind that the biggest chunk of cash she'll probably get is simply from selling the rights to use her IP, which is only worth anything thanks to the people now opposing her having purchased everything Potter in the past. No, the pennies from the individual purchases of a new game, probably the product most removed from her of any before, are what matter, all that matter. The minuscule drop you remove from the ocean of millions of people playing it is what marks you as good or bad. Apparently, overnight, because of a computer toys release, all of these progressives have dropped consequentialism as the basis of their morality and are now strict deontologists who believe money not reaching Rowling is the only absolute good which must be upheld on principle. Not all sketchy people receiving money or support, to be clear. Just her. The "Can you pet the dog?" gimmick account on Twitter is refraining from providing coverage of or purchasing Hogwarts, but is fine with buying Blizzard products. You know, Blizzard. The company wherein one woman who worked there killed herself while on a trip with her boss who had brought all sorts of sex toys to use on her. The company that hired and paid the breast milk bandits who would raid the community fridge for their colleagues' milkies. Activision Blizzard's CEO, Bobby Kotick, allegedly knew about all sorts of messed up sexual impropriety and hid it too. So it's not just lower downs who can be kicked out who are dirty there. But it's okay for your money to benefit him. Just not JK. I suppose it's fair if this is about making trans people feel safe that the theft of pregnant women's breast milk doesn't bother them. But still, on the topic of trans people, don't worry, I'm not going to say something that will get me banned 3 videos into my comeback. People have gone insane. Supporting a group, defending their rights and listening to them doesn't mean you hear a trans person say they want something and then do it. You can call yourself trans, you can look how you want, Ask people to call you whatever, anything you want, your right to do. But you can still also be a total moron. You can also quite easily, thanks to the internet, get together with a whole bunch of other moron trans people and present yourself as the trans community. If you then roll around the net crying like a wet, trans, idiot cyber meatball, that doesn't mean that what you say is right or meaningful in any way. It doesn't even mean that that's what trans people think as a group. And it certainly doesn't mean that what you want is what needs to be done to uphold trans rights. Listening to other groups isn't about taking orders from them. It's about not missing issues you'd otherwise ignore as someone separate from them. You still get to use your brain. Is J.K. Rowling getting a couple of bucks a human rights issue? Is you adding to the masses of money she already has the difference between her being able to fund non-trans friendly projects or not, or whatever she does? Can you, realistically, universalize this standard, or is it totally unrealistic, making this a matter of personal taste rather than moral integrity? All of this is people getting off on social media drama. This isn't social justice. The streamer list isn't so trans people know who's safe to watch. Give me a break. Shut up. It's a fight-picking and drama-starting tool. Whether any beliefs about gender or mental illness or not, feeling endangered by someone playing with a fancy technological toy certainly is. To be clear, I absolutely support people's right to boycott anything, to encourage boycott of anything. You have a right to that. But people waste their rights stupidly all the time. In fact, that's more or less the whole basis of American culture. On top of that, while you're free to exercise your rights, you're not free to exercise them without consequence. I know at least 100 of you just gritted your teeth. I had to do it. But I don't mean it in the insane Twitter blue check way where they'll tell you you can say whatever you want, but have to accept it if someone stabs you. I mean, you have to understand that saying, don't buy this, or even, don't buy this or else, may have an undesirable outcome. I'd bet the campaign against Legacy is going to result in more people buying it who wouldn't have than deciding to not buy it as a result of contact with these psychos. I'm looking at 7.1 million hits at the time of writing on a Twitter post about being against advertising Hogwarts Legacy. The most common phrase in the message is, Hogwarts Legacy. You know what? These people are right to not be giving J.K. Rowling money. She should be paying them. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.